History is set to come alive in Charleston, South Carolina, with the upcoming opening of the International African American Museum. Located at Gadsden's Wharf, a site of profound historical significance, this museum stands where an estimated 45% of enslaved Africans made their entry into America. The museum's exhibits and artifacts will provide a profound exploration of the indelible impact of African Americans' labor and resistance on the nation and the world. In addition to the historical exhibits, the museum houses a genealogy research center aimed at assisting families in tracing their roots back to their ancestors' arrival in America. Delayed by the pandemic and supply chain issues, this landmark project, over 23 years in the making, is finally nearing its opening. In the words of former Charleston Mayor Joseph Riley, the museum stands as a testament to the power of truth to set us free to understand, respect, and appreciate our shared history and to build a stronger future together. Tragedy struck eastern Kenya on Saturday evening, with 5 civilians brutally killed in an attack on the villages of Juhudi and Salama in Lamu County, bordering Somalia. The ruthless assault, which involved victims being beheaded, was claimed by the radical Islamist group Shebab, according to police and local sources. The attackers, armed with machetes and firearms, reportedly locked the women in houses, ordered the men out, and tied them up before conducting the massacre. Following the attack, the assailants seized goods from the residents and fled, firing into the air. In response to this horrific event, local authorities have increased security in the affected area. This incident is part of a larger pattern of violence attributed to Shebab, an al-Qaeda-affiliated group, which has been launching deadly attacks in Somalia and neighboring Kenya for over 15 years. Notably, the area near Mpeketoni, close to the scene of Saturday's attack, has been targeted before, underscoring the ongoing threat posed by the group to the region. An oil spill from a shell facility in Nigeria has wreaked havoc on local farmland and a river, further distressing the already environmentally beleaguered Niger Delta region. The National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency reports that the spill emanated from the Trans-Niger pipeline operated by Shell, impacting communities in the Alim area of Oganaland, a region long battling environmental pollution due to oil exploration. While the volume of oil spilled is still undetermined, the damage is evident in the images of tainted farmland, well-coated water surfaces, and dead fish mired in crude oil. Environmental activists describe the spill as major and one of the worst in the last 16 years in Oganaland, having disrupted the livelihoods of over 300 fishers and spread oil sheens further into the creeks near Port Harcourt. Although the leak has been contained, cleanup efforts have been stalled due to protests from local residents, highlighting the ongoing tension and mistrust between the community, oil companies, and the government. A fashion show held in the conflict-ridden eastern region of the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, is striving to inspire peace and creativity. Designer Flora Mfwanani Nsukila, along with other artists, used their collections to express their desire for peace, especially in North Kivu, a region that has seen decades-long conflict and displacement due to battles over valuable mineral resources. The Liputa Fashion Show, now in its 9th edition, took place amidst heightened tensions, with DRC accusing neighboring Rwanda of supporting rebellions in the east. Designers from Cameroon, Senegal, Burundi, France, the US, and more came together to deliver a message of unity and peaceful coexistence through their vibrant and emotive designs. The event not only showcased the fashion industry of DRC, but also highlighted the importance of women in industry and life, aiming to promote diverse cultures. Flora, after debuting her new collection, expressed optimism for the future, seeing the participation of international designers as a sign of improving security and hope for peace in the region. Despite international concern, Russia's foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, has confirmed that the controversial paramilitary group Wagner will continue its operations in Mali and the Central African Republic. He stated that these countries sought Wagner's help for military instruction and leader security after being abandoned by Europe and France. The West views Wagner as a tool for Russian influence, often accused of committing atrocities and exploiting natural resources. Lavrov assured that the internal rebellion by Wagner's leader, Yevgeny Prigozhin, and his forces in Ukraine will not impact Russia's relationships with its allies. He mentioned receiving numerous calls of support for President Putin from foreign partners in light of these developments. In conclusion, Lavrov expressed indifference to the potential impact of these events on Russia's relations with Western countries, stating that their relations are already strained and one episode more or less doesn't matter. Life imprisonment has been sought for former Rwandan policeman Philippe Hategekimana, who is now a French citizen known as Philippe Manir. Prosecutors describe Manir as a pivotal figure in executing the Rwandan genocide, accusing him of being the architect and active participant in the crimes committed in 1994. Prosecutors argue that Manir, an ex-gendarme, not only partook in the massacres but also incited others to kill, frequently setting an example himself. He is specifically accused of ordering the construction of roadblocks designed to trap and kill Tutsi civilians, and of directly participating in 3 notable massacres that resulted in thousands of deaths. Despite these grave charges, Manir denies all accusations, claiming he is the victim of unjust accusations. This trial, taking place in France, marks the 5th time a defendant has been prosecuted for crimes related to the Rwandan genocide, which claimed the lives of over 800,000 people according to the UN. The defense's case will be heard on Tuesday, with a verdict expected on Wednesday. Birtukan Mideksa, the chairwoman of Ethiopia's National Election Commission, NEB, and a former opposition politician, has announced her resignation, citing health reasons. Having served since December 2018, she submitted her resignation on June 12 and will officially step down on August 7, 2023. Mideksa states that her remaining tenure will be devoted to tying up loose ends and overseeing the administrative transition. Among the unfinished tasks is the official announcement of the referendum results pertaining to the creation of a 12th regional state in southern Ethiopia. The vote, which saw an overwhelming majority in favor of the new region, took place on February 6th in several zones of the Southern Nations, Nationalities, and Peoples Regional State, SNNPR. Mideksa, a former judge and opposition leader, was appointed by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed shortly after he assumed power in 2018. Under her leadership, NEB has managed political parties and organized 3 referendums and 1 national election in a country where the sincerity of ballots has long been contested. Total Energies faces a new lawsuit launched by Ugandan human rights defender Maxwell Atahura, 5 NGOs, and 26 civilians over alleged human rights violations and environmental damage caused by its oil projects in Uganda. The plaintiffs argue that these projects, which include a 1,500 kilometers heated pipeline crossing protected areas, have led to the displacement of over 118,000 people in Uganda and Tanzania and serious food shortages due to land expropriation. The legal action highlights the broader issues of climate finance and responsibility, coming just after the recent Paris summit for a new global financing pact, where African leaders criticized the failure of Western countries to meet their financial commitments for climate change. As the world gears up for the African Climate Action Summit and COP28, leaders are calling for a more solutions-oriented approach to the climate crisis. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock met with South African counterpart Naledi Pandor in Pretoria as part of the German-South African Binational Commission. Central to their discussions were energy security, climate change, and geopolitical concerns, including the impact of Russia's invasion of Ukraine on Africa and Europe. South Africa, maintaining a neutral position on Russia's Ukraine invasion, is now in a diplomatic predicament as it is set to host a BRICS summit in Johannesburg involving Russia. The country faces pressure from the West to arrest Russian President Vladimir Putin due to an international criminal court warrant over alleged war crimes. The meeting also follows a recent strain in South Africa-U.S. relations, with the U.S. alleging that South Africa supplied arms to Russia, a claim vehemently denied by Pretoria. The Ukraine conflict's global effects, particularly on food security and oil prices, were underscored during the talks, highlighting its significance to Africa. The UN Security Council has extended the authorization for the African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, ATMIS, for 6 more months, until the end of December 2023. The ATMIS, which replaced the African Union Mission in Somalia, AMISOM, in 2022, is tasked with combating Shebab Islamists and is set to gradually transfer its responsibilities to Somali forces by the end of 2024. The resolution also calls for a reduction of ATMIS personnel, with a withdrawal of 3,000 troops by September, lowering the total to 14,626. However, the Council expressed its readiness to review these figures based on a technical assessment by Somalia and the AU, as it remains greatly concerned about the continued threat posed by the Shebab, an al-Qaeda-affiliated group. Amid this situation, Somalia reiterated its call for lifting the UN arms embargo, stating it hampers the government's ability to provide adequate resources to its security forces to counter the Shebab threat. The Security Council renewed the arms embargo in November, which has been in place since 1992.